Welcome to the Dave Palma Show, the podcast that revives, restores, and awakens your innermost capabilities.
You have the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail?
I love what I do. When you love what you do, you want to be the best at it.
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Find your path to success through the journey of those who have succeeded. And now, your host, Dave Palma.
Hi, welcome back to the Dave Palma Show. And with me in this episode, I have someone who has an MA in mindfulness education, offering support to teens and adults. She draws from experience working with those impacted by trauma, addiction, and anxiety, and creates customized meditation, visualizations, and trainings to reconnect them to their wholeness. She's also had a new book called When the Whole World Tips, Parenting Through Crisis with Mindfulness and Balance. Celia Landman, welcome to the Dave Palma Show. Thank you, Dave. It's great to be here with you. Oh, fantastic having you here as well. All my guests are quite, that's why I have them on the show, but it's very, very great pleasure having you here with me, with an 8-year-old daughter, and lots of people with this sort of work now they're starting to learn about, with your own emotions and how that impacts your own child and things like that. Mindfulness being now mainstream now, and I did meditation when I was mindfulness when I was an athlete, so people found it strange in the 90s, but now it's not, is it really? So all that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of come out of the closet now. We're all doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in some way or the other, some people were doing it anyway, weren't they? Really? So.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, let's turn to your book first. What was the motivation for writing your book?
So there were, one was that this actually started as my thesis when I was in grad school. So I was getting a master's in mindfulness studies, and we needed to do research and write about something. And of all the topics, as I was going through things and studying more and more about mindfulness, because this is something that was my personal path, and it was also my spiritual path, I found that knowing what I had gone through with my own children, and then research about how our pain transmits, and about how we impact other people, and the benefits of mindfulness, and specifically of some of this really, really ancient Buddhist wisdom of how to be with somebody else's pain. The two things really came together for me, and had this kind of aha moment of like, well, I think that's what I did. I think that's what helped me get through my experiences. And I wanted to share this with other parents, because the things I was reading were about overwhelm, and were about helplessness, and were about parents who, and I want to also just say, my experience dealt with something very difficult, which is suicide attempts. Okay. So I want to make sure people know that this is included in the conversation, so they can have a choice about if they can handle, if they want to be here.
Yes,
and I mentioned that.
Absolutely.
So, so I had a personal experience where I have 2 children, and they're both okay at the moment, as I say this. But when my son was, he just went into middle school in the States. So that's, how old was he? I think he was like 12. He got hit with, you would say a football, we would say a soccer ball in the face, and he had a concussion that didn't resolve.
All right.
So he was having this, he was out of school.
Okay.
And the pediatric neuro guy was saying, we don't know why his eyes aren't tracking together. We don't know. And I'm like, are we looking at a traumatic brain injury? I don't know. And then at the same time, my daughter was in high school. She was 15, and she had been bullied. She had social anxiety, and she became very depressed. And we took her out of that school. And that was really hard. And then she got more agitated, more depressed, and then she made a suicide attempt.
Oh no! Okay, yeah.
So she was in an adolescent psych ward, and my son was home with this brain that was mysteriously not working. So between the two of them, I was really, I was so overwhelmed.
Yeah. I actually remember playing football, messing around with some friends, and got hit in the eye, straight in the eye with a football. Ended up in hospital for a children's ward for 2 weeks, and it was bleeding inside the eye. It was so much hemorrhage, bleeding. I thought I went blind actually, and then it was just so much blood when I got back. And then luckily it was only that. But I don't think I've got brain damage. But no, it's not really a funny thing. But seriously. That, and I was bullied at school, and more elementary, which I managed to get through okay, I think. But I had dyslexia. I found out as an adult I had dyslexia, and it really pinpoints all the traits and everything I had and the struggles to that fact. And if I'd known as a kid, but even then, you don't know, what the dyslexia is doing to you as a kid, do you really? And why they're doing certain things to you, So
yeah. And kids just think something's wrong with me. You don't have, when you're a kid, you don't have that perspective.
No.
And it's just, I can't do it. Something's wrong with me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it's something that you need to be okay with. So, what did you learn going through the process of parenting two kids with difficulties like that?
Well, so I'm also a practicing Buddhist, and I approach this from it's more of like a lifestyle than it is a religion.
Yes, of course,
Yeah. So, and also I just want to say for people listening, you can be Buddhist and something else too.
Yeah. Well, I describe myself as a Christian Buddhist only because I had a Christian upbringing. Because my mum was heavily African Caribbean Christian, and my whole family. But of course, once I turned adult, it didn't really carry on. But I was more into the meditation, and I picked out bits of Buddhism, and I knew that was more on reality. It wasn't on, it was kind of a way of life. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So saying Christian Buddhism isn't really a bad thing, really, to say that.
Well, my teacher was Thich Nhat Hanh, and he always said, "We don't want more Buddhists. He said, these teachings, they are about explaining life, and he said they're to help strengthen your own roots. You go back to what your roots are and make them deeper." And both my parents were Buddhist too. One was Christian, one was Jewish, Buddhist. We had a smorgasbord of all kinds of
mixed,
spirituality. But one of the things was spirituality was really important in my house. That I saw my parents meditate. I saw them practicing. My mom had 6 children. She needed them.
Definitely. Yeah, mine had 4. Well, so
we all need some. If you have a dog, you still need to meditate.
Yeah.
That's
the dog counts.
My bias. So one of the big things I noticed was, so I read. There was a study done that was really interesting to me, where they took 2 people in relationship and they, wired their brains. And then one of them, they were going to give an electric shock to. And even when they told the other person, so these 2 people are connected in relationship, they care about each other. They told the other person, we're going to give this person an electric shock. that person's brain ran a pain circuit that was the same as the pain circuit in the person actually getting the shock, minus a locator site, which means they felt the same pain because they cared about that person. And this was an involuntary response. So what it means is, when we care about somebody, so when we love if you love your kids or your parents or your dog or your spouse or whomever, your client, when they're in pain, you're going to feel it. And it's not an option. So for me, that was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to feel it. It's not about getting smarter and better and doing things a certain way so I don't feel the pain. It's what I do with the pain. So the practices that I really found supportive were ones where I could see my own pain, I could acknowledge it and accompany it. And I call it not abandoning, because so many times it's like, well, I'll just push through, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. But when I don't pay attention to my own suffering, what happens is my pain is also transmitting, even though I don't know it. And there have been a whole lot of studies about anxious parents that transfers to the kids. Yeah. And actually, when the person who is caring for you is stressed and is in pain and is agitated, it makes it worse. It makes the discomfort worse. Yeah. So it was understanding that if I want to show up, the first person, and this is like, it sounds so basic, but it's really very counterculture, because we don't prioritize our own self-care as a way to take care of somebody else. Yeah. It's showing that if I don't deal with the pain and suffering in my own self, it's going to spill onto my child, and I am not helpful. So, and it was also understanding that my intention was doing something. My intention to be, because I can't take away their physical pain. I can't fix my son's brain as much as I would love to. I can't cheer up my daughter and make her not depressed. I can't control her mind. I can't control anyone's genetics. Yeah. So it's like dealing and being present, mourning with my own, I didn't want this. Who wants that? It's very honest acceptance, and it's not silver lining it. It's not like saying, just push forward. It's truthfully sitting with, this is really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And sitting with it and letting it be, and I'd imagine.
Well, it is there. Yeah. And it's when I can see it. So this mindfulness thing, it's like we can get blended with our emotions, right? So when something happens with my kids and I'm like, I'm tight, I'm panicking, I'm scared, I can't see my emotion because I'm all blended with that. Right? It's like I am that emotion. Does that register with you?
Yeah. Definitely.
And then, so the mindfulness piece is when I have enough space where I can start to separate out just a little bit and look at the emotion, and then actually be there to support it and go, oh, this is, and it's as simple as recognizing and going, oh, this is fear.
Yeah.
Oh, this is dread. Oh, this is absolute panic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what this is. Okay. And it's not hating it and fighting it. It's doing, because in mindfulness, the secret ingredient is a little bit of kindness. You know, I'm looking at it and going, you're showing up? Okay. All right. How can I help? What are you here to tell me? And just even acknowledging it and being with it. Maybe breathing into it, teaching. I like the phrase teaching the emotion how to breathe.
Yeah.
Like if it feels like, oh, I can't do that. It's like, well, can I teach my panic? You know, that panic is so scared. Can I teach it how to breathe just a little bit with me? Okay. And I might not have the luxury of time to sit with this and figure, you know, and really be with it. But even just acknowledging, separating out and giving it that care is enough to, you know, and then I can come back to that, because my guess is that guy's going to stick around. We think these things are like one and done, but they tend to come back. These big emotions, they tend to populate our lives. So so those were some of the, and really knowing I wanted to live in my intention, and my intention mattered, even if I couldn't change the outcome, how I was during this thing. If I were, and I would use the phrase, I want to be a presence of care for myself and others at each moment.
Yeah.
And knowing, am I caring? So when I would get tipped out and I would know I'm getting really dysregulated right now, I don't feel like I can be present for my kid. I need that care.
Yeah.
When I'm getting impatient and frustrated and angry and overwhelmed or whatever I am, I need that care.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, it's very tricky, isn't it? Because if your child is dysregulated and really showing a lot of anger and frustration and other emotions, and you're dysregulated as well at the same time and want to center, then you've got to work on yourself first, because they're going to pick up on that, aren't they? And maybe model it even, which makes it worse, doesn't it?
Oh, totally. Yeah. and my, so I was fortunate enough to have somebody called a Dharma teacher in my life. And she was like a second mom to me. And she used to say, her name was Joanne Friday. She used to say, what we don't transform, we transmit.
Yeah.
And in my book, I talk about inherited generational rage. That I came from a lineage that carried rage, and nobody ever said, oh, this is a good idea, you should act like this, or this is a really bad idea, don't do this, because we didn't talk about it. It was shameful. When you're little and somebody's raging at you, it's you get the message, you're bad and wrong. You've done something, you've caused this. And again, you don't have the perspective. So it's always, I did it. And if you had told me as a child, as a young person, as anybody, that when you grow up, you're going to rage at your own children, I would have been shocked. I would have said, there's no way in the world, because I know the cost. I know the shame. I know what that feels like. I know the hiding. I know what that's like. And I was so ashamed that happened to me, that I couldn't control it. It was in me. And this is in my book about how I stopped, because that's what I learned.
Yeah.
And we also, when we do the thing over and over, we actually, or we witness it, it transmits into us stronger than if somebody actually teaches with words. And then I found that my own rage was an addiction, because I got like, I was getting this huge rush of relief when I did the rage, because I'd hold, and then I just explode. And I got something from it. And then after, there was always the shame and the repair, and they're like, oh my God, how could I do that? Because I know what this is like. And, and my daughter was, she was about 7, and she said, Mom, you always say you're sorry, but you always you keep yelling at us. And that was my wake up, because I was like, she's absolutely right. And I'm going to transmit this to my own children.
Yeah.
And I wanted to stop that. That inheritance was not something I wanted to pass on. And doing it, I used so many skills that I had learned to break that automatic, because it was so ingrained, to break that automatic, response. I got to do it. I've got to discharge this anger some way.
Yeah.
So it was hard. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And it's one of the best things I've ever done.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Obviously, you've done some great work around turning that around and making sure that you was, emotionally in control of yourself before that actually did transmit to children. It's the work I'm doing now with my daughter, and things like empathy, showing empathy rather than, tuning in and seeing where the triggers are and tuning in. There's a lot of other work that I'm doing at the moment with my own daughter, and it's quite difficult, really, especially with the tantrums. I don't want to go into it because I don't like talking too much about that, because it involves someone else, and obviously, But
you want to have their consent.
Well, yeah, not so much that. It's just obviously what we want to teach them is how parents can stay centered, isn't it? Really, that's what we're looking at, really. So,
and when you do this kind of thing, and also, what you're touching in on too is, when I make a choice to actually offer my child understanding and empathy in the moment, instead of punishing them, or, instead of doing this kind of power over model that a lot of us have been taught and we've come through. And when we move into something that's much more about what
equal kind of thing, rather than
power with, where my needs matter and your needs matter.
Yeah.
And it can look really counterculture, and people might be like, oh, you're, that's how you parent? Where are your rules? Like, where's your, and it can look very different than just the dominant kind of patriarchy that we come from. Where do as I say because I'm the parent.
Authoritarian parenting, it's called.
Yes.
Authoritarian, Yes. Not authority, because obviously you are the one that's still in charge, and that's what I've learned anyway. That authoritarians, that they don't have a say at all, and you really literally, it doesn't help them at all, does it? Really, that kind of parenting. So
no. You get some you can either get obedience without consent, or you can get rebellion, or you can get both.
Yeah. The idea is to discipline without damaging them, so it's really teaching them, you're teaching them the way of life, really, I suppose.
And also that when they do things, or what you'd like them to do, that they're acting from their own well of generosity and connection, and wanting to be in sync with you. That this stuff's really about connecting and having these relationships of mutual respect.
Yes, that's right. Mutual respect.
Yeah, because it doesn't just go one way.
It doesn't. Sometimes it feels as though you're not getting it, but kids just they're forming their brain, they're developing. It will come eventually, kind of thing, really. So, okay. Well, before we go, you also used to work in an inpatient mental health facility for teens, anyway, didn't you? What was the most valuable thing that you contributed to your clients?
So many kids. So I worked with kids who were 13 through 18, and all different issues, and really seeing these kids who had gotten so disconnected from their own sense that they were lovable, that they were whole. So, we would do practices to really reconnect with that you belong here. That it's this sense of belonging as part of the family of the earth. Kids are getting so siloed into their own peer groups so early, and really separating from families. And then when things go wrong, like, when you were saying you were bullied, when that shakes, they don't feel that they have any place in the world. And it can be so destabilizing for them. So it's seeing their deeper value and connection, that just because you're here, you're worthy, that you are enough. And it's like, and it's not something that you can do in one session. No. But even hearing that that it's okay. It's okay to see yourself as whole and healed, and a gift to the earth, that you are contributing just because you're here.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, it's a really, really great pleasure having you on this show. And before you go, can you just tell our listeners where they can actually find your book, When the Whole World Tips: Parenting Through Crisis with Mindfulness and Balance?
Yes. So you can buy it on my website, which is CeliaLandman.com, CeliaLandman.com. And if you're in the UK, I know shipping's really expensive, so we also have an online, the audio.
Oh, audio, yeah.
And then, or you can check with the on the publisher's website. It's parallaxpress.org. PARALLAXPRESS. And it's out there. You can just search on Google too, and find it. And one of the things I would offer for parents is really coming back to your intention over and over. What's your intention with your kids? And in the book, I talk about, I have written my intention on my arm. I have taped it to my shoe. It's like, I will be a presence of care. And it's like, I can't care for my kid if my kid's having oh, maybe I'm going to be a presence of care for me, because I don't want to lose it. And then I'm having more stuff to deal with. So it's that that balance, that care is going to go to me, or it's going to go to them. It's going to me, it's going to them. And it's working between those 2 points so that we're both included. It's really not abandoning ourselves.
Yeah, fantastic, Celia. Celia, a really great pleasure having you on this show, and thanks for sharing all this and talking about your book here on the Dave Palmer Show.
My pleasure, Dave. I really enjoyed our connection, and I'm wishing you a lot of strength and groundingness and wisdom with your own parenting.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts, or head over to my website, davepalmer.com, and click on Rate Show. Well, that's all for now, but I'll see you in the next episode of The Dave Palmer Show.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.